Hi everyone, welcome to your practice today. Welcome to a video all about headstand Shirsasana. Headstands reverse the effect of gravity on the body. Headstands also offer a new perspective on life, on ways of thinking and ways of being. Headstands increase our mental energy by virtue of increased circulation to the brain and the pituitary gland. Headstands also offer a chance for the body to detox the lymphatic system. Headstands improve our overall health. It reduces our anxiety and stress, and they build self-confidence. All good, right? Well, there are a few groups of people who might want to be more cautious about headstands. If you have high blood pressure, it's best to avoid going upside down. Now, yoga in general will improve your high blood pressure, so keep an eye on that number, and when it comes down, you might consider diving into an inversion practice carefully. Also, if you suffer from detached retina or glaucoma or other conditions of increased pressure in the head, you might want to avoid your headstands. If you suffer from slip disc or neck issues, you might want to practice a variation of the headstand which actually does not place any pressure on the head, so you get to derive the benefits of the inversion without increasing the pressure. And what about women during your time of the month? Now, when I learned headstand many years ago, I was instructed that when I was during my cycle, I should not come upside down because I didn't want to reverse the flow. Well, more recently, NASA has done some anti-gravity studies of women in space, and they have found that gravity actually has no bearing on the flow. Our flow happens not by virtue of gravity, but instead by the action of peristalsis, which is the muscular contraction of the walls of, in this case, the uterus or the intestines to move food through the digestive system, or even in the esophagus to move food down into the stomach. So what does that mean for you? That means if you have the energy and inclination and it's your time of the month, I would say come on upside down. It's entirely up to you, but don't not come upside down because you're fearful of your reversing the flow. So we'll start with some warm-ups of the neck and the shoulders and the upper back, as well as some postures that will open and strengthen those areas. I'll show you some ways to enter and exit headstand, as well as some variations, including that variation which actually requires no weight on the head at all. So you won't need any props. You'll want to make sure you have enough space. You'll want to clear all your house plants and sculptures away from your mat. And if you're using a wall, you'll want that not too far away. So find yourself in a comfortable seat. It might be cross-legged, it might be Virasana, you might be sitting up on a blanket or a block. Just find a comfortable place that you can sit with ease. Draw your head up on top of your neck, which sounds pretty obvious, but in fact it isn't. We tend to sit with our head and ears forward of our shoulders and our neck, putting a lot of unnecessary pressure on the back of the neck. So just in this seated position, pull your head back. You can think about ears above the shoulders and the chin slightly down and the back of the neck long. Take a nice deep breath in here and let it go. And we'll do that again, just preparing for our practice. Breathing in and breathing out. Eyes can be open or closed. One more time. Deep breath in, drawing the neck and spine long. And breathing out. Bring your palms together at heart center for just a moment. Drop the chin. Give yourself some gratitude for showing up today for yourself on your mat in this way. And when you're ready, release. Bringing your ears back on top of your shoulders. Take a breath in. Neck is long. Chin is down. As you exhale, right ear to the right shoulder. And so I'm just allowing the stretch. I'm not pushing. I'm not trying to touch the ear to the shoulder. I'm not lifting the shoulders up. I'm just letting them relax. As you inhale, bring the head up to center and switch sides. left ear towards the left shoulder. You might keep the hands on the knees or in the lap, or you might release that opposite arm, allowing a little bit more stretch in the neck. Inhale up to center, and again, right ear, right shoulder. You might let that arm relax. You might even reach that arm just a bit. It can be quite intense though. So we're warming up here. Don't go too far, too fast. Releasing, inhale to center and other side. Left ear, left shoulder. Maybe adding to the stretch. Breathing in and out. And bringing it back up to center. Take a breath here. As you exhale, chin to the chest. Feel the stretch in the back of the neck. Inhale, lift the chin, open the throat. And exhale, chin to the chest. Back of the neck lengthens. From here, as you inhale, chin towards the right shoulder. Breathing in and out. As you exhale, chin down to center. And inhale, chin towards the left shoulder, feeling the stretch. And remember, you want a real mild to medium stretch here. You don't need to feel the biggest stretch of your life. So just be gentle. And as you inhale, head down to center. Exhale there. And inhale, bring it back up. Shoulders rise up to your earlobes, breathing in. And let them fall. We'll do that again. Inhale, shoulders up. And let them fall as you exhale. And one more time, shoulders up. And exhale, let them fall. Let's rotate the shoulders, making big circles in the shoulders here. Breathing in and out. And we'll go the other way. Take a deep breath here, in and out. And reverse the direction one more time. And exhale, release the shoulders and come into hands and knees. So coming into hands and knees, the fingers are spread, hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. From here, I'm just going to press into the ground, and I'm neither going to arch nor round. I'm going to be in my neutral spine. I'm going to keep the belly drawn in a little bit, and as I inhale, I'm going to melt my chest towards the ground between my thumbs. Shoulder blades will draw together. So this is not just a big back bend. In fact, it's not a back bend at all. I'm protracting and retracting my shoulder blades while my back stays fairly straight. So inhale, melt the heart towards the ground. Exhale, push the ground away. The shoulder blades move left and right. Do that again. Keep the belly drawn in, melt the heart down toward the thumbs. Exhale, push the ground away, pull the heart up toward the spine, and 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, belly in, and 1 more. Inhaling, protract, retract. Actually, I said that the wrong way. Retract and protract. And from here, just sit your bum back on your heels a moment. Take your right arm up nice and high. Cross the arms, the upper arms. Bend the elbows and press the backs of the hands together. Or if you can loop the palms around to touch, do that. So I am pressing my arms towards one another, almost like I wanted to break free. Take another couple of breaths here, right into the shoulders and the upper back. And release it. Other side, left arm up, breathing in. Cross high on the upper arms, press the palms or the backs of your hands. And you should feel this in the shoulders. I feel this in my medial shoulder, the middle of my back, as well as actually the whole shoulder girdle. Take a deep breath here and release. Just sit a moment, let that sink in. And one more from here, right arm up, bend the elbow, hand toward the shoulder blades. My left hand is going to guide that right elbow toward my ear. Now, you might notice I'm beginning to arch the back, so I want to be conscious of that and pull my upper ribs in a bit. And I'm breathing here. Take care that that right arm, particularly if the shoulder is tight, doesn't begin to push the head forward. Try to keep the head back on the neck, ears above the shoulders. Take a breath here and release. And we'll do the other side, left arm up and bend the elbow. Right hand guides the elbow toward the head without arching the back and without pushing the head forward. Take one more breath here and release it. Just sit a moment, let that sink in. We'll take one more from here. Clasp your hands and fit the heels of the hands behind the head. Squeeze the elbows a little closer together so the back of your head is wedged right into the wrists and the heels of the hands. Elbows draw in until they're about shoulder width apart. I'm going to turn around to face you here. And this posture is pretty simple. I'm just going to pull my head back into the heels of my hands. So I'm taking my head that way so my ears come over my shoulders more, and my elbows are going to squeeze in a little bit. And this will feel familiar because this is how we're going to set up the base of the arms in headstand. So I'm just breathing here. I'm strengthening the back of my neck, pushing hands into my head, pushing head back into my hands. Take one more breath here. And release, hands to the lap. Just sit a moment. And take downward facing dog. So coming into your downward facing dog, make sure that your hands are shoulder width apart. Your feet are going to start hip width apart. And I'm just going to walk in place. I'm going to let my head hang. I'm going to let the weight of my head traction my upper back a little bit. From this position, pushing the arms long and straight, a little bit of bend in the knees. Take a breath and exhale it out. Keep gently pushing the heels down and the calves back. The buttocks are high. Push the ground away with your arms, and I'd like you to remember that. Push the ground away with your arms. Let's take a couple more breaths in downward facing dog. One more deep breath here. And now I'd like you to widen your feet. We're going to do some spinal rolls here between downward facing dog and our plank pose. So take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bend the knees a little bit and begin to round the back. Tuck the tailbone, pull the heart up into the spine as the shoulders slide over your wrists. Inhale, exhale there in your plank. And as you inhale, bend the knees a little, lift the spine, lift the tail, and arch your way back into downward facing dog. That was an inhale. Actually, that was an exhale. As you inhale, come forward, rounding. Exhale, arching, pull back into downward facing. So continue this on your own. Take several cycles of breath here. Inhaling as you pull back into down dog and exhaling as you push forward. So we're articulating the spine here. We are opening up front and back aspects of the spinal column, as well as creating strength and mobility. That was the ferry here in Port Townsend. Creating strength and mobility in the spine. One more of these. Inhaling, down dog, exhaling into plank. Take a deep breath in, bring your knees down, and relax in pose of the child. From your pose of the child, take your hands and wrap them around the outsides of your elbows. This is to ensure that your elbows are about shoulder width apart. You don't want the elbows wider because then you'll lose out on the support of your elbows underneath you. So elbows are shoulder width apart. Clasp your hands. Now, I like to place my pinky fingers side by side as opposed to stacked one on top of the other. The rest of my fingers are interlaced as so, but I like to place my pinky fingers side by side so there's a flat surface there for my hands to rest on. Two options for this particular variation. You might open up the thumbs and place the back of the head in the palms. Your thumbs are on the occiput. So what does that look like? So the back of my head is pressed into my palms and my fingers, and my thumbs are right there at the base of the skull. From that position, with your thumbs open, you'd fit the back of your head right there in the hand clasp, and the thumbs are at the occiput. Another option is to keep your hands actually clasped and to fit the back of your head right here in the notch between the wrists and the heels of the hands. And the hands will kind of clamp and pinch in to hold the back of the head steady. That's the one that I'm going to do at the moment. So from that position again, I've checked my elbows are shoulder width. I've got my hands clasped, and I'm going to fit the back of my head in the hands. The part of my head that is on the ground is the very crown of my head. Be careful that you're not forward near the forehead or too far back. From this position, I'm going to push my elbows and forearms into the ground. I'm going to turn my toes under, and I'm going to lift up into a downward facing dog meets a headstand. So if you can see my shoulders right now are dropping toward my ears. I want to push my forearms and my elbows into my mat quite firmly, and you can see my shoulders lift up and away from my ears. So right here, I'm using my arms so much, my head is just lightly kissing the ground. I have no weight on my head. And this is a great variation for those of you that want to practice headstand and derive benefit from headstand without putting pressure on your neck. So right now you could slide a piece of paper underneath my head. I'm using my arms as opposed to my head. And my head is hardly touching the ground. From this position, I might walk my toes in a little bit more to get my bum over my shoulders. I'm looking to stack my major joints one on top of the other. From here, if I choose, I could stay here or time to move on. The next step, I'm going to pick up my right foot and I'm going to bring the heel to the bum, and I'm just going to take that leg up, then I'll bend the knee back to the chest and I'll bring it down. Other side, press the right toes. I'll bring my left heel to my bum, thigh is tight to my chest. I could stay here or I might stretch it up, and then I'll bring it back down, toes down, walk my feet out, and rest. And I'm just going to let my head sort of hang in midair here, breathing. Naturally, your elbows are going to want to widen. So the action of adduction is very important. Adduction means you're adding toward the midline as opposed to abducting away from the midline. So keep squeezing those elbows closer together and into the ground, keeping them right underneath your shoulders. So that might be your headstand practice, and you might hold that for maybe 5 or 10 breaths, and when you're ready to move on, this is what you'll do. From that, I'm pushing my elbows and forearms into the mat. I'll turn my toes under, and I will assume the position. From here, using my arms, shoulders away from my ears, I'm going to walk my toes in. And I'm going to bring one thigh to the chest just the way I did before. So here's one option. You could now bring your left heel to the bum, really using your arms and your elbows. And this might be where you stay. From here, you might take one leg up and the other leg up. Squeezing your inner ankles and your feet together.
You're internally rotating your legs, toes are spread, and you're reaching for the sky. Let's go back to that intermediate position where you were here, heel to the bum. So now here's another option. Here's another way to pull yourself up. I'm going to let that right knee lift. I'm going to bring that foot behind me, and I'm going to let this right foot get a little heavy, and that's going to just allow my left foot to float off the ground. Don't get too wrapped up in your legs and forget about your arms and your shoulders. Even though this is called a headstand, I'm really using my arms and upper body. From this position, once that left foot lifts, I'll bend the knee and bring the knees together and straighten out the legs. Pressing elbows, shoulders lift away from the ears, and I'm breathing. My gaze is steady. And again, I really don't have much weight on the head and neck. There is some, but I'm mostly using my arms. To come out, I might bend the knees one at a time, keep my knees close together initially, bring my knees and thighs into the chest and feet to the floor. And I will rest. Another option, you might stack your fists and lightly rest your head there. And you'll breathe in and out. One more option here. So once you are fairly proficient in your headstands and you've developed the strength to come up fairly easily, you might choose to do something like this. So setting up the same, always checking elbows are shoulder width apart, hands are clasped, maybe thumbs are open or thumbs are together, depending on what feels comfortable for you. Fit the back of your head into the hands, turn the toes under, walk in. So if your hamstrings are long enough that you feel fairly comfortable here with straight legs, I'm going to not round my back. I'm going to begin to arch my low back, pulling my tailbone to point up, my pubic bone back behind me, and I will lift into a pike position. So as you can see, my buttocks are no longer directly over my shoulders. They are behind me. I had to pull them that way in order to create the counterbalance to lift my legs. Once my legs come up to vertical, then my bum comes back in line with my shoulders, and over time I aim to stack my feet above my hips, above my shoulders, above my elbows and head. Coming out of the headstand in that pike position, again, I'm going to begin to arch the low back, drawing my buttocks back behind me, and slowly lowering my legs. If you're feeling like you want to build some strength, you might stay in that pike position for a few breaths, and then lower all the way down, nice and slowly, and with control. So again, we'll just rest in pose of the child. So remember, you might choose to hold these in the beginning for 5 breaths or 10 breaths and then slowly increase from there. But what if you are afraid of falling and you don't want to do it in the middle of the room? You want the support of a wall. Well, watch this. Sit close to your wall, and you want to set up about 1 knee length or 1 shin length from the wall. So I'm going to put my foot against the wall, and I'm going to measure where my knee falls. I'm going to put my head right there at that spot where my knee was. My head will be 1 shin length away from the wall. I'll set up the same with my hands and my elbows. I'll do everything exactly the same. Once I get 1 or 2 feet off the ground, I'm going to bring 1 foot immediately to the wall with my knee bent. The beauty of this is that you've set your head up 1 shin length away from the wall, so you can use the wall confidently without doing a banana shape. Very often when people use walls for handstands or headstands, their heels are on the wall, and I don't know if you can see it from that angle, but the body is in a banana shape. So with the knees bent, put 1 or 2 feet on the wall. Draw your tailbone up toward the ceiling. pubic bone towards the heart, and the belly draws in. And this might be your headstand, using elbows and forearms to push, using the shoulders to lift up and away. Feet are on the wall, and I'm cultivating that knee above pelvis, above shoulders, above elbows alignment. Keeping knees together, I'm going to extend one leg up to the ceiling. My right foot is still on the wall. My left leg is seeking balance. And if I want to try balancing both feet off of the wall, I can. But the wall is there if you need it. From this position, we're going to reverse the way we came in. So bending one knee, plant the foot on the wall, plant the other foot on the wall if you wish, feel secure, and then keeping one foot on the wall, the other thigh comes to the chest, and you can release it down. And we'll just take rest there a moment.
So let's say you're getting comfortable with your headstand and you want to play around a little bit with the variations. So in these variations, the base stays the same. We're going to continue cultivating that head pressing into the hands, the elbows are shoulder width apart, the forearms and elbows are pressing into the mat, and the shoulders lift away. So this will stay the same. The variations I'm going to show you are in the legs. If this is too much for you today, just watch, be inspired, maybe someday, or maybe not. Okay, so here are a couple variations that might be fun to play with in your Shirsasana. So we'll set up exactly the same way as before. Elbows shoulder width apart, a nice strong hand clasp, the crown of the head lightly touching the floor, shoulders up, elbows and forearms down. So walking the toes in, remember the couple different ways to come into this. You might come into it this way, or you might come into it this way, or you might come into it this way. Let's take eagle legs. So wrap your right leg in front of the left, lightly bend the knees, and see if you can intertwine your legs. Your left foot is free to reach the ceiling, your left toes are spread, and your legs are squeezing the midline nice and strongly. The base remains solid and secure. Switch directions. Left leg comes around, light bend in the knees, intertwine the legs, and now your right toes are spread and they're reaching, and the legs squeeze the midline. From here, release and either come out, and when you're ready, return, or from here, from your headstand, you're going to turn the pubic bone and the knees to the right while your head and your foundation stay centered. Pressing both elbows as evenly as you can, back to center, breathing in, and we'll turn the lower body to the left, twisting and breathing. Keep the gaze steady and come back to center. From here, I'll show you one more variation. Bring your right ankle in front of your left lower thigh, and now bend that left knee and bring your left knee towards your chest. So I'm getting a nice hip opener on that right side. This will be familiar as that figure 4 position. From here, release it back up and switch sides. Left ankle crosses in front of that right thigh, flexing that left foot a little. Bring your right knee towards your chest, stretching that left outer hip. And again, don't get so caught up in your legs that you forget what's happening in your base. Your elbows are pressing down, your shoulders are lifting up. The gaze is steady and you're breathing. From here, release it up. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, release it down. Feet to the ground and rest, either letting your head
extend forward, or you might stack your fists and rest there. Make sure you give yourself enough time to really rest and assimilate the benefits or the effects and the sensations of your posture. Don't jump up and get on to the next thing. Just give yourself time to soak this in. And from here, I'm just going to walk my hands in, and I'm going to sit back in Virasana, hero's pose, and close my eyes. I'll be sure to bring my head back on top of my neck, ears on top of my shoulders, and I'll just get a sense of settling into the sensations of this posture. It's almost like the ripple effects of dropping a stone in a pond. Just feel the ripple effects of your actions. One more thing I'd like to touch on is falling out of headstand. That's the fear, isn't it? Falling out of headstand. So what do? There's a couple ways to fall well out of headstand. Typically, in a headstand, your feet are going to get heavy and you're going to fall back behind you. So if that's happening, two things. Arch your back and drop your feet. So it looks something like this. And so you come up in your headstand and your feet are heavy. What are you going to do? You'll arch your back and land on your feet. And then from here you can release the hands, tuck the chin, and relax and hope for the best. Breathing right there. Another way to fall out of your headstand, if your feet are suddenly heavy behind you and you feel yourself going that way, is to tuck your chin and to roll around your back, looking something like this. I don't know if I'm going to show that one. After your headstand practice, it's really important to rest. So since I'm right here at a wall, I'm going to use legs up the wall as part of my rest. It's also an inversion and it will help to drain my legs and rejuvenate my body. So I'm going to lay down with my bum just a few inches away from the wall. And if you don't have a wall nearby, you can certainly just lay down on your mat wherever you like. I'm going to turn my legs towards the wall and take my feet up the wall, separate them a little bit. If I'm tight in the hamstrings, I'll want to move my buttocks away from the wall, just so I can really be comfortable. Arms wherever you like. Make sure that the back of the neck is long here, the chin is neutral, and take rest. Enjoy your shavasana, or your legs up the wall. And when you are ready and you feel rested and recovered. If your legs are up the wall, bend your knees one at a time, go slowly, and just roll to one side. And if you're in your Shavasana, same thing, bend your knees and just roll on over to one side and just be there. Use your hands, push down and draw yourself up to sit. Bringing your head on top of your neck and your ears on top of your shoulders. Bring your palms together at heart center. And have a sense of gratitude for all the good things your headstand practice will bring into your life, both physical, mental, and emotional. I hope that this has been interesting and informative. I hope you incorporate these principles into your practice. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.